Yeah, and Nafisa, I'll answer your question just once I finish um, these safeguarding slides, okay? Okay, everyone. Can all of you see and hear me clearly? Can everyone see and hear me clearly? Yes. Hi, Hilda. Hi, Charandeep. Hola, hola, Charandeep. Charandeep's talking Spanish today, guys. Welcome to our advanced tax revision booster. So we're going to be kicking off at 1:30. So it's 1:16. But in the interim, I am going to answer any questions you have. Okay. So I've got an interesting question here from Nafisa. And what Nafisa asked is with regard to question 73 in Han, the direct shareholding in L was 80%, and the company owned 70%. Okay. So R was not included in the CGT group. Okay, guys, so that's a very good question, Nafisa. With regard to CGT groups, do any of you know what the indirect shareholding should be? Okay, so guys, just for your safety, remember the way we communicate in class is we communicate through the chat box. Okay, so we communicate through the chat box. You cannot send personal messages to other people in the class. Okay, so for safety reasons, we communicate through the chat box. You can't share your screen or anything. I'm the one who shares my screen with you, and we communicate through the chat box. But remember, I can unmute you. Yeah, very good. So what Nafisa said is the indirect share. Well, thank you, Charandeep and Nafisa. The indirect must be 51%. But what should the direct shareholding be? What should the direct shareholding be? Yes, absolutely. The direct shareholding must be 75%. So for CGT groups, the direct shareholding must be 75%, but the indirect, yeah, but the indirect only has to be 51%. So Nafisa, with regard to this group structure here, have we satisfied the indirect shareholding requirement by saying 56? Yes, we've satisfied the indirect shareholding, but have we satisfied the direct shareholding? Because L only owns 70% of R. Have we satisfied the direct shareholding requirement? No, Nafisa, we've not. Yes, absolutely. So remember, Nafisa, the direct shareholding must be 75%. It's the indirect that must be more than 51. Okay. So that's a very good point, actually. In fact, later on today, I'm going to give you a little quiz on shareholdings, because that's what an area the examiner said many people make a lot of mistakes on. Yeah, no, all the shareholdings must be at least 75%. You see that? So in fact, what I'm going to do, Nafisa, is probably if I just unmute you.
Hi, Neil.
Hi,
Yes.
Nafisa. Yeah.
So I was quite confused whether parent only needs to have indirect of in a subs, which is 56%, and it did tick the box. I wasn't sure if the sub should also own indirect 75% in its own sub.
Yes. So
that makes it. That makes sense.
Yes. Okay. So for CGT groups, the direct shareholding must be 75, and the indirect only has to be 51.
Oh, I see. Because you see, if you look at the parent, if you look from the parent's point of view, parent owns 56% in R, but
exactly.
not the sub. So sub should also own more than 75%.
Absolutely. And that's exactly why the examiner did that, you see.
So I didn't know that. You see,
so
I thought it's only indirect.
Yes. Okay. So he does these little traps in the question. So that's the classic mistake most people made in that.
Okay.
Now with loss groups, what should the indirect be? Are you comfortable with that?
75 and 75.
Yes, yeah. For loss groups, they both have to be 75. But for CGT groups, the direct shareholding must be 75, but the indirect only has to be 51.
Oh, I was always looking from the parents' point and not the subs.
Yes.
I thought if the sub doesn't matter how much subs owns, as long as
no. So for when we talk about CGT and loss groups, it doesn't matter how far down you go. It must always be 75, right?
I see.
Okay. So even if you're looking at the, the sub or the sub, it must be 75.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Okay, any other questions while we're waiting? Anyone with any tax technical questions while we're waiting, or any other questions you have about the exam? So we've still got a few minutes before we start at 1:30. We're going to have a lot of people joining, okay? Lots of people joining soon. So if you want to get your questions, if you have any questions, now is the time you can ask, guys, okay? Do any of you know how many students we've got in this group? Do any of you know how many students have signed up for this? Charandeep, yeah, you can ask me about Juanita, Charandeep. Yeah, go on, yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you, yeah. We have 100 students today, guys, okay? So 100 students, and it was sold out. Yeah, of course, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. So those of you who are here, remember, you're very lucky. It was sold out a week ago, okay? It sold out a week ago. So if you managed to get on, that's great. Hi, Charandeep.
Hey, how's it going? You all right?
Yeah, very well, very well.
Yeah. So UNITA was just the fact, like you said, that anything that's in the penultimate year is current year basis, and then final year is when you sweep up, as you mentioned.
Absolutely, yes.
So what I want to understand was the 51K. I still can't get my head around why we didn't include it in the final sweep up, because that's taxed in 2021.
Absolutely. What the examiner said, Charandeep, is that what he wanted you to do was compare the incremental profits.
Right.
You see? So it was a decision-making concept there. So when you think of incremental profits, what we're trying to say then is, the idea behind incremental profits, it's future cash flows.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So the idea here is the 51,000 was taxed anyway. So it was quite a tricky question, because in order to compare the two alternatives, because he gave you two alternative cessation dates.
Yeah.
Right. So to compare the two alternatives, you must remember, whenever we do decision making, we must compare like with like. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So consequently, in order to compare like with like, if you added the 51,000 to the first cessation date, you would not be comparing like with like.
Ah.
Yeah. So it's not a tax rationale. It's more of a decision-making rationale.
Yeah, and then finally, what I wanted to say was, obviously the QBD is all done and dusted, and there was a question on there that was absolutely horrific. I think people will vouch with me. There was like a question on mortgages, and it was so random. And then when I got academic support on that question, they just said to me that, would you agree with this? That in the exam, the examiner does have a tendency to just to throw random scenarios at you, and you've just got to think on the spot with them.
Well, to some extent, I will, with regard to the question-based day, if you don't mind, we won't take any queries today on the question-based day, because we are doing the question-based day debrief later on this week.
I'll mention it to you on Tuesday. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Okay.
But yeah, that's all for today. Then that's great. Thank you, Neil.
Brilliant. Yeah. Because the only thing about the question-based day is that if I start answering question-based day queries, there are lots of people on this course who are not on the question-based day.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. That's understandable.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Great.
Okay, I'll speak to you Tuesday on the
Excellent. Yeah, good.
All right, bye.
Bye. Okay, guys, so welcome to our ACCA Advanced Tax Revision Booster, okay? So welcome to our ACCA Revision Advanced Tax Revision Booster. So those of you who haven't met me before, my name is Neil, and I'm your tax lecturer today. The recording, today's session is being recorded, and it will be emailed to you, okay? So at times, remember guys, we are going to be covering quite a lot of technical material, and you may not have time to take it all down. So I do recommend you listen to the recording after the session as well, okay? So I do recommend you listen to the recording after the session as well. But for those of you who've never attended a session like this, remember we communicate through the chat box, okay? So we communicate through the chat box. So you're all very welcome. My name, like I said, my name is Neil. I'm a tax lecturer with Kaplan. Have all of you connected with me on LinkedIn? Has everyone connected with me on LinkedIn? Yes, excellent, good. So remember, guys, I put lots of stuff up on LinkedIn. Hi, Wakaz, welcome to the course, Wakaz. Nice to see you. Yeah. So, at times, I do understand that for some of you, it wasn't possible for you to get on our Kaplan revision courses and so on. So this is why I've run this booster session, not just for my, obviously my Kaplan students, but also for other people. Hi, Waleed. You're very welcome, Waleed. For those of you who, didn't manage to come for our courses, okay? So hopefully, this is something I'm planning on doing going forward, and just offering you a little bit of support, okay? So, so the way we run the sessions, we communicate through the chat box. If any of you have any specific queries and you would like me to unmute you, remember you are allowed to speak, okay? So you can speak to the class and so on. And the session is being recorded, okay? So it'll be recorded and it will be emailed to you after the session. Now, just be aware, guys, I don't have control over that, because this one was done through Kaplan. So remember, they may do it probably on Monday, okay? As opposed to the weekend. They'll probably do it on Monday. But in fact, what I'm thinking of doing in future is I'll probably take control of that because I know many of you might want to get the recording immediately, okay? So in future, I might actually take control of that aspect of things myself. But remember, Kaplan on Monday will send you the recording, and they'll also send you the notes. If you've got any questions, just make sure you communicate with me over LinkedIn, okay? So communicate with me through LinkedIn. It's very, very easy, and it's quick, okay? Excellent, good guys. So how's everyone feeling? Are all of you guys feeling confident about the exam? How are you feeling? How's everyone feeling today? Yeah, fairly confident, Nafisa, excellent. Bryony, nice to see you. Waleed, confident and geared up. Norman, okay, Norman is feeling okay. Nish, yeah, you're getting there. Excellent, excellent. Some questions are hard, Carla, absolutely. Charity was feeling, fairly confident. Good. That's what I'm looking for now, James. Okay. Now, going forward, guys, please remember that what your plan is. Hi, Amy. Lovely to meet you, Amy. Going forward, guys, remember, you must try and do as many questions as possible. For people like Amy, if you haven't met me before, it's a good idea to connect with me on LinkedIn, okay? So if you connect with me on LinkedIn, I can maintain a dialogue with you through LinkedIn, and you'll see lots of stuff that I put up on LinkedIn that's useful for you, okay? I put up lots of stuff on LinkedIn that's useful for you. Okay, guys, so we've still got people, like I said, joining the course. So hi, Said. Lovely to see you, Said. So we're still admitting people on the session. So when I do these sessions, obviously I do them without a host, yeah? So I have to act as the host as well, okay? Hi, Kevin. You're very welcome, Kevin, okay? Any of you I haven't... Never mind. Oh, James. Oh, sorry, Lola. Lola, you've logged on under your husband's name. That's fine, Lola. You're very welcome, Lola. Just to tell you, I decided not to let people change their names. Okay. Once again, it's just a security issue because at times people put on some fictitious names, and so just a security protocol there. I've decided to make sure everyone cannot change their name for security reasons. Hi, Asa. You're very welcome, Asa. Lovely to see you guys. We're going to have a great session. I hope you're all fired up, and we're going to move. Yeah. Hi, Bilal. Very welcome. Just to find out, guys, just before we start, is there anyone in this group who's not logging on from London? Okay, so if you're not logging on from London, do you mind just telling us where you're logging on from? Yeah, so Brighton, good. So we've got people from Brighton, Sheffield, Peterborough, wow, Southampton, Leeds, Reading, Gravesend, Manchester, Chester. So we've got loads of, Netherlands. We've got Musa joining in from Netherlands. You're very welcome, Musa. Okay. Excellent. So basically what we can see is most of us are from the UK, so we're still under lockdown, but we do have Musa joining in from the Netherlands. He's also under lockdown. I know that. Any other countries? Okay. Any other countries apart from the UK and Netherlands? Any other countries, guys? No. Okay, good. And you're all very, very welcome. Okay, so let's get cracking, guys. We're not going to waste any time. We've got a lot of stuff to do. So if we start by just taking a quick look at the exam overview. So the exam will be a 3-hour, 15-minute computer-based exam. Once again, just a question from Bilal there. Bilal, I want to reassure you, the session is being recorded. The recordings and the notes will be shared with you. The recordings and the notes will be shared with you after the session, okay? But it'll probably be shared with you on Monday by Kaplan, okay? So like I said, if you just, bear with me, guys, we've got quite a few people just joining now. So I may have to pause to admit everyone, okay? So I'm just trying to admit everyone. We have to go through these protocols for security purposes, yeah. So with regard to the exam mixes up all the taxes. So income tax, capital gains tax, IHT, corp tax, VAT, national insurance, and stamp duty. So all of you comfortable with mixing up the taxes? All of you comfortable with mixing up the taxes? Yes. With regard to the taxes, guys, which kind of taxes would you do first? Which kind of taxes would you do first? Corp tax, IHT. Well, actually, I always recommend, I recommend you probably stick to stamp duty. So try and knock off stamp duty first, and then probably something like inheritance tax, okay? So it's pretty, it's not too difficult getting the marks for inheritance tax. So probably try and do stamp duty, VAT, Stamp duty, VAT, and IHT first, okay? So yeah, absolutely. So if you do stamp duty, VAT, and IHT first, then you can do CGT later, Walid, okay? So very often, yeah, absolutely, Bilal, I am going to be giving you a heads up on what I think is coming up. Are all of you aware that from now, actually from the last exam, we've now got 3 variants of the exam? Are all of you aware of that? Yes. So based on when, yeah. So just to make sure if you're aware of this, you're not all going to be sitting the same exam. Okay. So you're not all going to be sitting the same exam anymore. The exam is going to be different based on when you take it. Okay. So there are going to be certain questions, absolutely. But what the ACC are going to do is they're going to change some questions, not all the questions, but some questions will be different, which is why what we're saying now, while I give you some idea of what's coming up, you need to have a much broader understanding. Okay, great. So in the exam, you're a tax advisor giving your clients tax advice. Okay, so that's what your position is. You're a tax advisor giving your clients tax advice, and the exam is like solving a puzzle. And you must avoid falling into the examiner's traps by learning the technical rules. So on the day of the exam, guys, so by the way, when is the exam? When is the exam, guys? On the 2nd, some people are saying 3rd, good. Remember, 2nd of March, don't say 3rd. 2nd of March, good. And when are you guys sitting the exam? When are you guys sitting the exam? Morning, afternoon, or evening? 10:15, 9:30, yeah, morning, good. I'm pleased to see no one is doing it late at night. Okay, so don't try and do it late at night. Good. Yeah, absolutely. Just be aware, guys, that those of you are sitting it, yeah, well done. Najita's doing it at 1:15. Those of you are doing it early in the morning, you have to wake up early. Okay, so you need to have a good night's sleep. Very good night's sleep. The night before the exam, what time do you need to be in bed? What time do you need to be in bed? 10, no, not, don't go to bed at 8 o'clock, Norman. Norman's going to bed at 8 o'clock, okay? I don't recommend 8 o'clock, because if you go to bed at 8, you'll wake up at 2, Norman, okay? Don't go to bed at 8, but I recommend after 9 o'clock, you go to bed, you relax, okay? You can read some notes if you want in bed, okay? But you're in bed for 9, okay? So you're in bed for 9. So basically you're falling asleep. Give yourself enough time to fall asleep. And then it's very important to have a good night's sleep on the day, okay? Now, all of you comfortable, yeah, very good, Chela, you can do some meditation. Can any of you give me 1 or 2 tips to make sure you have a good night's sleep? Because that's very important. What can you do to make sure you have a good night's sleep? No, Wakaz has a coffee. Don't drink coffee at 9 p.m. Wakaz, no, because that'll keep you awake. That gives you a boost of caffeine, okay? Yeah, warm bath, good, that's what I like. Chamomile tea. Norman is saying, watch a movie. Norman, what they've recommended is when you see a screen, okay, the screen emits what's called blue light, and that keeps you awake. So I actually don't recommend, yeah, very good. Nafisa is saying, don't argue with a husband, okay? So Nafisa likes arguing with a husband. Don't argue with your husband on the night before the exam, because that will play in your mind, okay? So yeah, have a nice chamomile tea. One of the things they recommend to help you, yes, you can use your calculator, Rianne, absolutely. One thing they recommend to help you sleep is to read, okay? So what I would do is I would read my notes. I would read through my notes, go to bed at 9, and I'm just reading through my notes. Once I've read through the notes, I'm just going to relax, okay? Probably, read a book, a novel, something like that. And I think that'll help you get a good night's sleep. On the day of the exam, wake up early, have some breakfast, have a shower, have some breakfast, and then you're ready to start, okay? Yeah, good, well done, yeah. Excellent, Bilal, yeah. Now remember, the exam is very, very time pressured, and you have to think on the day. No, Josh, I don't believe in heavy breakfasts, so you must never have anything fried. I believe in eating things like porridge, Weetabix, Absolutely. Yes, yes, Rianne, I'll be talking to you about this a bit later on. You can use a monitor and a PC, okay? You can use a monitor and PC, but you can only have one monitor. I will be talking to you about that a bit later, okay? Good, guys, okay? But if any of you have any questions, please let me know. But for the time being, if you don't mind, try and remember we're covering a lot of stuff today because I'm going to make it very valuable for you. So at times, if you write a question about something I'm not covering at that specific time, I might just leave the question and cover it a bit later, okay? Yes, Bilal, I'll come to your question in a while. Your room will have another computer and some office stuff. That's fine, as long as only one monitor is visible to you. So if there's another monitor that in your room, that's fine. Just cover it with a sheet. Okay, just cover it with a sheet. That's perfectly fine. I will be explaining exactly how to set up the room first. But one thing I'd like to cover with you now is what we're expecting to come up. I think this is very useful. So if any of you have any questions, so if you don't mind, guys, for the time being, just try and restrict your questions to what we're covering at this point now, so that we try and cover everything. Good. So the first thing, yeah, let's crack on. Let's crack on. Yes, you will get this as a recording, Rianne. You're more than welcome. And any of you that have not connected with me on LinkedIn, please connect with me, okay? So there's lots of stuff I put up there. I'll be putting up stuff there until, even the day before the exam, okay? So if you connect with me on LinkedIn, it's much, much easier. And then you can always remember, you can communicate with me on LinkedIn as well. Good. So what are we expecting in this exam? Well, we're expecting to see some groups with rollover relief, okay? So with rollover relief, don't forget we're reinvesting in a freehold building. We're taking our sale proceeds from the old building or goodwill, and we're reinvesting in a freehold building. So what happens there is we postpone our gain and we compute the base cost. If you reinvest in a depreciating asset, what happens here is we call it holdover relief. And the two depreciating assets are fixed plant and machinery and leasehold buildings. So we're expecting some groups with rollover. With regard to CGT groups, does the same group member need to reinvest? Does the same group member need to reinvest? No, absolutely not. So another group member might reinvest. So that's what I'm expecting to come up. I'm expecting trading losses. And I think what the examiner is likely to do in this exam is to tell you that we are buying a company, or a company is probably leaving the group, and that company has got some trading losses, okay? So that's something that's due to come up. Control foreign companies, there have been control foreign companies coming up in both the last two exams, but he's not examined control foreign companies in detail. What is the mnemonic for control foreign companies? Can you type that into the chat box, please? Very good. Yes. So EELLT. Excellent. Excellent, guys. So either energetic elephants love lifting trees. And I've also come up with another mnemonic, electric eels love low tax. Okay. Have all of you seen my article on CFCs? Did you see the article on LinkedIn? Electric eels love low tax here. So once again, remember, if you follow me on LinkedIn, you'll see there's lots of useful stuff there, as well as on my website. He should do the substantial shareholding exemption. He did, yeah, very, okay, okay. He should do the substantial shareholding exemption, okay? The degrouping charge, that's highly possible. With a degrouping charge, we're looking for a company leaving the CGT group after nil gain, nil loss within how many years? 6 years, absolutely correct. And then watch out for the anti-avoidance rules, okay? So with the anti-avoidance rules, we're not allowed to use up the company's pre-acquisition trading losses if there's a change of trade, okay? Within how many years? There's a change of trade within how many years? 5 years, yeah, absolutely. There's a change of trade within 5 years, or the victim's activities are small and negligible and only revived due to the ownership change. Excellent. Nafisa said 3 before, 2 after. Good. Secondly, he could give you either the sale or purchase of a company. Now, watch out for traps. The questions will have traps. He could ask you about missing information, finding errors, or completing pro formas. Now, for the last couple of exams, your examiner has focused on UK domiciled individuals going abroad. Okay, so he's been giving you basically temporary non-residents. So what I expect he is likely to do now is probably give you a non-UK domiciled individual coming to the UK, and then asking you about the remittance election. Current year basis opening year rules, that's highly likely we will be looking at this, VAT registration and CGT gift relief with regard to gifts. Now, with regard to a transfer to a trust, if you make a lifetime gift to a trust, what do we call it? Do we call it a PET or a CLT? Excellent, well done. I want to see everyone responding. Yes, very good. We call it a CLT. Now, when you have a CLT, do you need to pay the CGT as well? Yes or no? Y for yes, N for no. Okay, you can see quite a few of you are getting it right, but many of you are getting it wrong. No, no, no. So let me tell you this. You never pay the, no, it doesn't depend. It doesn't depend at all, Bilal. When you have a CLT, you can always postpone the CGT under gift relief. Are you okay with that now? Yeah. So when you have a CLT, you can always postpone the CGT by claiming gift relief. So make sure you look at that carefully. I'm also expecting your examiner to do business property relief and agricultural property relief. With business property relief, we can either claim 100% on a sole trader's business unquoted shares, okay? Or for quoted shares, we claim 50% if you have a 51% holding. He could also do agricultural property relief, which is 100% of the agricultural value. Now, don't forget the 35 mark question will have 4 easy marks for presentation, and section A will have 5 easy marks on ethics. And the ethics is only 4 areas, so please make sure if you learn the ethics areas, new clients, tax evasion, confidentiality, or GAR. Okay, what are the most likely areas to come up for us in March? Yes, absolutely. No, not new clients, Carrie. So Carrie said new clients. No, actually new clients came up recently. Okay. So yes, Kevin. Yeah, I probably tax evasion. Okay. Probably tax evasion. Yeah. Leah is saying confidentiality. Absolutely. But also GAR. Can any of you tell me what GAR stands for? What does GAR stand for? The General Anti-Abuse Rule. Very good. Yes. General Anti-Abuse Rule. So circular transactions where maybe you're claiming allowances of more than 100%. HMRC will withdraw the allowances and they'll give you a fine of 100%. Okay. Now, with regard to the Section B questions, these will account for 40 marks. Always read through the opening paragraph first. Okay, so when you're doing the exam, what you must do section A first. The examiner's recommended that, and then you go on to section B. With section B, always read through the opening paragraph first. The areas I'm expecting are things like the share schemes. He's not examined the share schemes recently. Okay, so you must know about the SIPs, share incentive plan, save as you earn, enterprise management incentives, and the company share option plan. Close companies. With close companies, these are companies controlled by 5 or less individuals. And if these companies take loans out of the close company, then what happens then is the company has got to pay penalty tax based on 32.5%. Personal service companies. Okay, that's a hot tip for this exam, guys. Okay. Yes, Najida, the share schemes, personal service companies, these are always very, they're written type questions, okay? And the last thing I'd like you to do is make sure you learn the 6 conditions for buyback of shares. Can any of you start typing in some of the conditions for buyback of shares? UK resident. Very good. Charandip said benefit of the company. Quick, guys. Quick. Yeah, Said said we help the trade. Excellent. Yeah, very good. Many of you are very good at bona fide commercial reasons. Very good. Well done, Herman. Herman said unquoted shares. Excellent. Nish said you must have a substantial sell-off. Okay, so after the sale, you must not own more than 30%. Very good. Chella said, excellent. You must reduce your shareholding down to 75% of what you previously owned. Carol said, retiring director, that's excellent. That's for bona fide commercial reasons. Carrie made a very interesting point, guys. Make sure are all of you getting the points that your fellow students are making? Okay, so remember, we're sharing knowledge here. Carrie said you must have owned the shares for 5 years or 3 years if inherited. That's an excellent point. Excellent, guys. Okay, so remember, guys, please adjust the screen. Shasta, sorry, of course, you can't see. No, Shasta, I've already finished with the left-hand side, Shasta. Shasta, are you okay with that? I finished with the left-hand side. Okay, yeah. We have to move fast, Shasta, which is why I will email this to you. You'll be able to watch the recording later if you miss something. Is that okay? Yeah? Okay, good. The other thing I expect the examiner to do is venture capital. So make sure all of you learn the enterprise investment scheme, the seed, small enterprise investment schemes, and VCTs, venture capital trusts. With the seed, you can invest 1 million. Okay, you get a 30% income tax reducer, and you can also postpone another gain. You have to keep the shares for 3 years. With the seed, you only invest 100,000 a year, and you get a 50% income tax reducer, and 50% of another gain, up to 50,000 becomes tax-free. And once again, you keep the shares for 3 years. With a venture capital trust, you invest 200,000, you get a 30% income tax reducer, but you must keep the shares for 5 years. With a VCT, you can't postpone any other gain. In addition to that, I think the examiner will ask you for VAT schemes for small businesses. So the cash accounting, annual accounting, and the flat rate scheme. And I think partial exemption is due to come up, okay? So can any of you tell me what the minimize? Rianne, I hope you've been preparing for tax for quite some time, Rianne, yeah? Rianne, is that you? Who's RT? Okay. Okay, good. Excellent, yeah. Yeah, 7,500 or 620. And this, what's the second condition, guys? 50%. Very good. So if any of you have forgotten don't worry about that, Josh. Don't worry about it, Josh. You're not going to remember it all. Okay. So remember, guys, with me, I am a tax specialist. I learn it all. Okay. Don't forget, with you, you only need 50%. Josh, you're doing extremely well. Don't worry if you get frustrated, guys. That's part of the journey, okay? You're all doing extremely well. I'm here to encourage you and tell all of you that you're going to pass the exam, okay? Now, because of Brexit, EU VAT may also feature. So if you sell goods to a VAT registered business within the EU, do you need to charge VAT? VAT registered business within the EU? No, it's zero rated. What about if the customer is not VAT registered? If the customer in the EU is not VAT registered? Yes, you must charge 20%. Good. Remember, if you sell goods outside the EU, all the sales are zero rated. Okay, so it's not difficult to learn the EU VAT. I think that'll come up because of Brexit. Pension, Renata has joined us now. So you can see, guys, Renata was relaxing on a Saturday instead of joining our seminar, and suddenly she realized that she was a bit late, okay? So Renata, you're welcome to the course, okay? So remember, guys, if you join late, I might tease you a little bit, okay? Pension annual investment restriction, okay? So make sure all of you know about computing adjusted income, threshold income, and then you know the formula, 50% into adjusted income, take away 150,000. Okay, so learn the formula. What is the minimum pension allowance everyone can claim? What's the minimum pension allowance everyone can claim? 10,000. Excellent. No, 10,000, Carol. The minimum. Okay. I also think the examiner might do PPR and letting relief. Okay. So he might do PPR and letting relief. So make sure you learn all the deemed occupation, okay? So the last 18 months, 36 months for any reason, 4 years working elsewhere in the UK, or any period working overseas. Yeah, good. Because PPI and letting relief is changing. Lastly, the examiner might do partnerships, self-assessment, change of accounting dates, employee or company, so running employee or company, taking out money via a bonus or a dividend, research and development, and transfer pricing. So in order to make sure you pass the exam, do you need to go through all these areas, guys? Who's saying no? I want everyone to say yes, yes. Wally, don't say no, okay? You have to go through these areas, okay? Go through these areas and make sure that you know. Yes, absolutely. You have to work hard, guys, okay? We work hard. We're not afraid of hard work, okay? So in tax, we're not afraid of hard work. The reason we believe, Said, no, Said, you must remember that what's happening now, Said, if you sit the exam in the morning, it will not be the same as the exam at 10. Can you see that, Said? You have to learn more now. Yeah. Transfer pricing, Najida, transfer pricing for about 4 marks. Okay. All you need to know about transfer pricing is you adjust to arm's length value. And secondly, large companies need to agree their policy by reaching advanced pricing arrangements. With SMEs, they only have to do the transfer pricing adjustment if they're trading with a company that's in a country that doesn't have a double tax treaty with the UK. Okay. Okay, guys. Okay. So what are the key skill sets you need for the exam? Well, the first thing you need is you need technical tax knowledge. Okay. So you need technical tax knowledge. So if you don't have the knowledge, you will not be able to answer the question. Okay. Rianne is saying, will I give you questions to look at? Rianne, have you connected with me on LinkedIn? Okay, so Rianne, connect with me on LinkedIn and then we can have a chat about that, okay? So if you don't have the knowledge, you cannot answer the question. Good. Next, yeah, you need to be able to understand the question and think your way through the answer. So you'll need analytical ability, analytical ability. Next, you need written skills because you have to demonstrate your tax knowledge to the examiner in a concise way, okay? So you have to demonstrate your tax knowledge to the examiner in the concise way. And lastly, you need computational skills because you'll have to compute the tax savings. Okay, guys, I've given you 4 skills. What I want you to do is type in which skills you think are the most important. So which skills do you think are the most important? What's the one thing that will make you pass? I want to see everyone type in something, guys. Knowledge, time, writing, technical knowledge. Application, good, yeah. Understanding the question, good. Read fast, knowledge. Excellent, technical knowledge, good, well done, Mu. Yeah, let me tell you what the most important skill set is. Analytical ability, okay? The most important skill set in advanced tax is analytical ability, okay? So you need to be able to think on the day. Don't worry if you don't know it all, okay? When you go into the exam, guys, are you going to remember everything I've taught you today? No, you'll have forgotten. Even today, even though I'm only with you for an hour and a half, I'll probably teach you quite a lot of stuff. You won't remember it all. Don't worry. But you have to be able to think. Yeah, well done, Kevin. Yeah, you'll remember some of it. Kevin, you're going to remember at least half to 75% of it, okay? But remember, the important thing is analytical ability. Take time to think, read, and understand the question. That's so important. Don't worry, I'll be practicing with you today because we will be doing a full exam question. Okay, so are all of you nervous about remote invigilation? Is everyone nervous about remote invigilation? Yes, yes. So what I'm now going to do, so if we look and see what we've done so far, okay, I've told you what the exam is like. I've told you that the areas that are going to come up, Okay, these are the areas most likely to come up. I've also gone into the skills. Yeah. Yes, 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 Amy. Yeah, good, good, good. So let's talk about remote invigilation now. Okay. Yeah. No, no, no. There's nothing to worry about. The ACCA have been preparing for remote invigilation for the last 18 months, well before COVID. Okay. So I never knew that, but I found that out. So what will you have to do in the exam? You need a clear desk area, guys. You need a clear desk area. You're only allowed to use one monitor. Can you connect a big, like I've got a 28 screen, a 28 inch screen here in my study. Can I connect my laptop to a big screen? Can I do that? Yes, yes, good, yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. But then what I need to do is close my laptop. Excellent, good. So I then need to close my laptop down. Make sure if you've got any other screen in the room, you cover it with a sheet, okay? So make sure you've got another screen in the room, you cover it with a sheet. You also need, you're allowed to have a separate keyboard and a separate mouse. So are all of you comfortable with Bluetooth technology, guys? Is everyone comfortable with Bluetooth? I hope none of you are using wired stuff, guys, okay? Yeah, I hope none of you use wired stuff, yeah. We're using Bluetooth, guys, okay? Come on, guys. These are your ACC exams, they're important, yeah. So, you know, I've got a Bluetooth mouse there, you can see here. I have a Bluetooth keyboard, okay? I have a nice big keyboard there, okay? So if you have things like that, it'll just make your life much easier. If you don't have this stuff, do the best you can. But, you know, I believe in maximizing the chances of passing the exam. Next, a webcam. If you're using an external monitor, like I am, you need a webcam to go on it, okay? So rather than using a laptop webcam, if you have an external monitor like I do, you'll need a webcam. Calculator, you can use your own calculator. One of you is asking me this. With tax, just a basic Casio is good enough. You don't need any scientific functions. The one I use is a Casio JF120BM, okay? JF120BM, it's available from Amazon, £10, something like that, okay? Next, you're allowed to have a clear glass of water or a small bottle. Do not use a glass, okay? Because some of you might knock it down and you might ruin your exam. What I recommend you do is get one of these bottles of water here, okay? So Smart Water. Are all of you comfortable with Smart Water? So it's 600 milliliters, which should be enough for you for the whole exam. And all you do is take off the label, okay? So just get some Smart Water, take off the label. If you need 2 bottles, just put 1 bottle near you, okay? And if you need to switch, you can then tell the invigilator and switch your bottles, but that's it, okay? Now, you're not allowed to have any additional monitors, no peripherals. Are you allowed to have a mouse mat? Are you allowed to have a mouse mat, guys? Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? Oh, sorry, I can't say, sorry. Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry. I was wondering what's happening, yeah. You're using a wired mouse, that's fine, don't worry about it. The monitor does not have a webcam, so how will that work? Rian, you will need, if you're using an external monitor, you will need to get a webcam, okay? Webcams are not expensive, Rian, just buy one off Amazon, okay? Does it matter? No, it doesn't matter if the mouse is, do you need to send a picture of the desk beforehand? No, they will see it live. They will see it live, guys. There's going to be live invigilators, and then there'll be artificial intelligence scanning the room. Okay. Yeah, good. Carla bought one. Rian, yeah, Abdul is helping you guys. If you've got any queries, like, you know, in terms of your laptop settings, that's good. I want you to make sure you have some water with you, even if you don't drink, guys. You know, in the exam, you'll be stressed, okay? So at times it's just a bit of time, you know, you just open this up just like this, okay? You have a quick drink of water. It takes 1 second, and then replace the top and put it beside you, okay? That just gives you a break. It allows your brain to think, okay? So it's fine. It's fine. When you're reading the question, you can have a drink. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Good. You're not allowed a mouse map. Who is this person who's got a TV in their room? Okay. Who's this person who's got a TV in their room? Stop keeping your TV. Stop keeping your children in the room, guys. Okay. Yes, it doesn't make any difference, guys. Yeah, if you've got a powerful hotspot, that's perfectly okay. I'm teasing you guys. You cannot have a mouse mat. Okay. You cannot have a mouse mat, Patricia. Unfortunately, ACCA did not permit that. Okay. Guys, you are allowed to have other things in the same room. Chela, yeah, I'm teasing you. Don't worry about it. You know, I tease lots of you. Don't worry about it. All you need to do is cover the television with a sheet. Okay. Like with me, you guys can't see my room, but I've got a bookcase behind me, and all they've said is cover it with a sheet. Okay. Yes, you've rented an office room for the exam. That's perfectly okay, Wakaz. Wakaz is not joking around, okay? That's fine. That's perfectly okay, guys, okay? Not a problem. Good. Yeah, cover your work monitor and laptop with a sheet, even bookcases, okay? Remember, you cannot use headsets, earphones, and there's no scrap paper. Now, guys, yeah, I will come to that about closing. Renata, it will work. Renata, it will work. You just have to get used to it. Mine is a Bluetooth mouse. Okay, just get this Bluetooth mouse, Microsoft, off Amazon, whatever. Okay, you can see I've got 2 mice here actually. But you know, just get something, Renata. Don't wait till the day to struggle with this. Okay, so it won't go to waste. Now, I will be talking to you about this. You need a closed, quiet room. Do you need to lock your room? Do you need to lock your room, guys? No, you don't need to. No, you don't have to. Okay, Keiko, yeah? Yeah, I just want to reassure you, I've confirmed this with the ACC, they don't have to lock it. All you need to do, if you're living in a house that have lots of other family members, just put a sign on your door saying, do not disturb. Okay, do not disturb. Okay, can your grandmom come in and give you a cup of tea, guys? Can your grandma come in? No, tell your grandma not to come in, okay? Okay, okay, that's all you need to do. It's not a big deal, okay? But remember, the ACCA is fine with that. You're allowed pictures on walls. So they said if there are pictures on the walls, that's fine, okay? But if there's written text, like my bookshelf, I've got a bookshelf behind me with all my tax books, I have to cover that with a sheet. You are not allowed any post-its or whiteboard, okay? So no post-its or whiteboard. The artificial intelligence will scan the room to detect other people or voices. Okay, so there's, apart from a live invigilator, there's also an artificial intelligence scanning the room. Background noise is ignored as long as the words cannot be heard. So let's say your loud neighbors are talking, Niran, ACC is not bothered about that. Okay, Albert, you have to get rid of that whiteboard or cover it with a sheet. Just cover it with a sheet, yeah? Just put some pegs, cover the whiteboard with a sheet, that's fine. You don't necessarily have to change it. If you watch the ACCA video like this, this year, I bought this from the ACCA website. Does your room have to be like that, guys? Albert, no whiteboard. No. So it doesn't have to be sterile. The ACCA know you're living in a normal house. That's perfectly fine. But what they want to see is you've taken steps to make it secure. Now, so when you're preparing, like I said, deep breaths in the exam, have breakfast, be there ready, be prepared, stay hydrated. Very important to drink a lot of water, okay? And just be relaxed. Now, the ACCA are now allowing you a 5-minute comfort break, okay? So if you're pressed and you need to visit the bathroom during the exam, can you visit it for 5 minutes? Yes. Now, this is important. Do not go into the bathroom and start reading your tax notes. Okay? Don't do that. Okay? I don't want you to do that. Okay? It's okay, guys. Even if you forget 1 or 2 things, it's fine. Okay? Just trust me with this. Just make sure you're doing things properly. Okay? I recommend you do not, I recommend you don't even use the break. Okay, I never went to the loo when I'm in the middle of an exam. Why are you doing that? Okay, I wanted to use up all my time to sit the exam. I want all of you to pass advanced tax. But what the invigilator will do is they'll immediately stop the exam if they suspect cheating. Okay, so just be aware of that. So if you need to go to the bathroom, just go to the bathroom quickly, come back. Okay. In fact, ideally, they want you to come back in less than 5 minutes. Okay. And like I've told you, in advanced tax, 5 minutes gives you 5 marks. Okay. So I never wasted a single minute of my exam time. And I know many of my students who've done extremely well never did that either. Okay. So that's why I'm saying even water, you don't have to drink all the 600 milliliters during the exam. Just have a sip occasionally. Okay. Use Control C and Control V to copy and paste your requirements into your answer. I recommend you only use the word processor and do your calculations in tables. And I'll be showing you how to do that today. So are all of you comfortable with that? Okay, not using the spreadsheet. Yes, very good. It's quicker to just use the word processor. Okay, so just trust me on that. It's just quicker. You'll be surprised how much time it takes to mess around because the spreadsheet, now Carrie, that's fine. Okay, Carrie, now, once again, you can do that, but I'm telling you, the spreadsheet is not like Excel. Yeah. Now, those of you who are comfortable, make sure you log on to the ACCA site and practice that. Okay. But if you stick to only using the spreadsheet, that's fine. Okay. That's perfectly okay. Yeah, that's fine. But I'm just telling you what the majority do. Yes, you'll have to do that, Walid. You can't, because I'm telling you, when you switch over, it takes time. Okay. One thing I recommend you do is learn the key tax rates, 37.5 and 150 for income tax, national insurance 8632 and 50,000. And I want all of you to go through the tax rates before the exam so you're comfortable with the material given. So in the exam, will you get the tax rates? Will you get the tax rates in the exam? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, you will get the tax rates, but you'll have to open up another window. Okay. So I just think, just use them by exception. The last point I want to cover with you, I think some of you asked me about this. Are you allowed, like I have a big window in my study here. Okay. I have a big window in my study. Are you allowed to leave the window, leave the curtains open? No, you must draw the curtains. Okay. Yeah. The artificial intelligence does not like wind and it doesn't like people passing either. Okay. So draw the curtains. Now, a window behind the desk, out of sight, that's perfect. No, windows are fine, Hassan, but you must draw the curtains. Yeah, the curtains must be drawn. Curtains must be drawn. Now, yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, windows are fine. Hassan, don't worry about that. You can't, how can you go to a room without windows, guys? Okay, Hassan, I'm telling you what has happened. Yeah, Keiko, blinds are fine. Blinds are perfectly okay. But all I'm saying is if you've got a window, like I have a massive big window in my study because I have a lot of natural light here. All I do is I just draw the curtains. Okay, that's all. That's all. No big deal. Yeah, I think I've covered everything on that. Okay. Okay, guys. Have all of you found the session useful so far? Yes, good. Okay. So I found the session useful. We're doing quite a lot today, by the way. We're doing quite a lot today. I know I said an hour, but we're going to be here longer, guys, because I want to cover as much as I can with you. Okay, guys, I'm going to show you something. We're going to be doing something on memory next. So just got a little thing for you here. Okay, guys, what did you think of that video? What did you think of that video? Cool, good, yeah, yeah. So one of the things I'm doing is I'm in the process. I'm going to write up. I'm writing up some. Yeah, I'm writing up some study notes. Okay, so I'm writing up some condensed notes because now what I find is because yeah, eye catching, cool, yeah, very good. Because what you need now to pass advanced tax is you need quite a broad knowledge, and as you guys have seen, it's quite difficult learning that. But my notes will be available for the June exam. Okay, so they're going to be published, in March, mid-March for the June exam. So that's a very useful resource uh, that'll come out. Yeah. No, no, no. Hopefully, none of you should need it. But when we talked, when we looked at this video, guys, okay, what did you like about it? What did you like about it? It was colorful. Thank you. It was colorful. What else? Secondly, you can relate to it. Very good. Okay. He's happy, unlike us, Norman. Absolutely. Short interaction. It relates to your lifestyle. Absolutely. So what I'm trying to show you, engaging. Thank you, Samir. So what I'm saying is when you stimulate your memory, that's what you need to do. Okay. So if you're trying to learn tax, what you need to do is what I recommend you do is make short summarized notes and use different colors and diagrams. So use different colors and diagrams to stimulate the neural pathways in your brain. So I'm actually what's called a neuro-linguistic programmer. So I've studied this in detail. And when I produce notes, I'm taking advantage of that. Okay. So what you're trying to do is make your notes colorful, make your notes engaging. Okay, use little diagrams and so on. This will help you remember this. Use these notes when practicing exam questions and memorize them before the exam day. Okay, so those of you who are my students, have I already given you quite a lot of notes if you're my students? Yes, yes. So those of you who are my students, you're very lucky. You've already got the notes. Some of you who are not my students, then obviously, you should have made some notes. Yeah. Now, the other thing to do with memory is try and use mnemonics. So that's why we talked about this here. Yes, so the problem, Josh, is trying to condense them. Absolutely. This is why I've prepared my condensed notes, okay? So I've prepared my condensed notes. So like I said, they'll be on sale from mid-March for $99.99, okay? The mnemonics, the trick is also use mnemonics, okay? Sorry, so... Hassan, sorry, yeah, not to worry. Hassan, how come you've come on as well as me? Okay, good, yeah, okay, good, yeah, thank you, Hassan, yeah. Yeah, absolutely, yeah, good, okay, good. Yeah, so mnemonics help you recall the key principles on the day, okay? Not to worry, Hassan, okay? Haven't they whittled that down to 44 pages? I think what you're talking about, are you talking about the Kaplan notes, Josh? Yeah, those massive big A4 pages, yeah? So the massive big A4 pages. Yeah, so you should be using that. But if you remember, Josh, in class, I also gave you, summarized notes, okay? So I'm gonna show you what I mean by this by looking at employed versus self-employed, okay? Yeah, looking at employed. Yeah, well done, Shasta. Yeah, good. So remember, like I said, I've tried to deal with this issue by preparing my condensed notes. Yeah. So one of the topics I'm expecting to come up in this exam is personal service companies. And if the examiner examines personal service companies, he will examine employed versus self-employed. And the mnemonic you need to remember is CIDR. So the mnemonic for control foreign companies was energetic elephants love lifting trees, ELLT. The mnemonic for employed versus self-employed is CIDR. So let's take a look at this. The C in CIDR stands for control, whereby you choose your hours of work and method. So if you cannot choose your hours of work and method, that will indicate that you're an employee. If you can choose it, that will indicate that you're self-employed. I stands for integration, Okay, so we look and see whether you've got set responsibilities within the organization. If you're integrated into the organization, then you should be treated as an employee. If you're working as a standalone entity, then you should be treated as someone who's self-employed. D stands for different income sources. And we look and see whether you've got a single major source of income or whether you've got multiple sources of income. So if you've got a single major source of income, that'll indicate that you're an employee. If you've got lots and lots of different sources of income, that indicates that you're self-employed. E stands for economic reality. And we're looking to see what the actual economic reality is. So does your employer give you equipment? Do you have other people to help you do your work? If that's the case, if there are people to support you, the employer has given you equipment, they've given you things to carry out your work, the economic reality would suggest that you're an employee. If you've got to buy your own equipment, if you've got to, do everything yourself without any support, let's say send out invoices, prepare technical material, do the task on your own without any assistance from the employer, that'll indicate that you're self-employed. R stands for risk, and we look and see whether you've got high or low personal risk. If you've got high risk in relation to the work you're carrying out, then you should be treated as a self-employed individual. If you've got low personal risk, that indicates that you're an employee. And the last R stands for rights under employment legislation. And what we do under rights under employment legislation is we look and see whether you're entitled to holiday or sick pay. So if the examiner tells you that we've got a personal service company, so if we've got a personal service company and the personal service company is under IR35 legislation, can any of you tell me what you can recommend to the client to avoid IR35 and the personal service company rules? What can you recommend, guys? Good. So instead of you working for a certain number, no, you don't recommend becoming employed, Bilal. So good, you could employ some people, but you could buy your own equipment, for example. Can you see that? Yeah, you use your own equipment, Patricia. Excellent. You could employ some people, but you can choose, if you can choose your hours of work and method, okay? If you can choose that. So it's up to you to choose that. The employer can't tell you, the company can't tell you what hours to work and so on. That'll indicate that now you'll come out of IR35, you'll come out of personal service companies, and you'll be treated as self-employed. Okay? Absolutely correct, Walid. Excellent. Yeah. So I am expecting IR35 to come up, guys, which is why I've covered this for you. Okay? So are all of you happy with learning stuff? Are all of you happy with learning stuff? And did you find that useful in terms of memory techniques? Yeah? Good. So I did want to cover that with you as well, just to show you that you can all try and learn the stuff, because some of you are saying, look, you're finding it difficult to learn. So if you use little techniques like this, it will help. And like I said, in order to help you do that, I am preparing a limited supply of advanced tax condensed notes, which will have everything you need in 150 full color pages, okay, with multiple images. So I'm using all the memory techniques, full color. Yes, it's easier. Well, actually, I think it's easier to, if you make type notes, that's fine, but you have to use different colors. Can you see what I've done? So what I'm saying here, Josh, is it's you have to make sure if you write, Josh, then and you use different colors, that works as well. But I'm saying, you guys will not necessarily have the time or the ability to prepare something like this. Okay, so this is, if you like, the professional version. Okay. But what I'm saying is there's nothing to stop you from doing handwritten notes, Josh. And don't forget, Josh, you're one of my students. So I've actually done lots of memory joggers for you anyway. Okay. So you can just use mine. You don't have to make your own. Yeah. Like I said, this will be published by the end of March. It may be published before. The cost will be $99.99 with the introductory offer free UK postage for the first 25 copies. Okay, so the first 25 copies will have free postage and packaging, and it'll only be available on my website. If I put it up on Amazon and so on, I'll have to charge a higher price for it. Okay. Okay, guys, has everyone here read through Wonder? Have all of you read through Wonder? Yes, very good. Okay, good. So what I'm going to do now, okay, so I'm going to now take you through a detailed debrief of Wonder. And Wonder was question 1 from the September or December 2018 exam. Absolutely correct, Wakaz. Yeah, if you've done any revision courses with me, if you go through that, that will be more than enough for you to pass. Okay. But the solution on the ACCA website is based on Finance Act 19, guys. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Kaplan exam kit, and you will find that question on page 42, question number 22. So with regard to this scenario here, Wanda has inherited Lucy's death estate. And what you need to compute is the amount that Wanda will have after inheritance tax. And she's planning on using the inheritance to start a new business, which will be operated as either a partnership or a limited company. So the examiner could examine partnerships. And if she sets up a limited company, she will own 70%. There's also a possibility that the business will make a loss on commencement, and Wanda needs to know the implications of choosing a year end of 30th of June instead of 31st of March for the partnership. Okay, does everyone here have a copy of the Kaplan exam kit? Yes, excellent, excellent, good. Olu, you don't. Olu, hopefully you're using the ACCA question from the website then, okay? But most of you do. So what I want to do now is give you a couple of minutes to read the question. Are all of you happy with this? I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to read the question. Yeah, good. So remember, this is the most important part of your exam preparation. Kevin, it's on page 42 of the exam kit. Page 42, question number 22. So I'm just going to give you I'm going to only give you 4 minutes to read through it, okay? When you read through an exam question, guys, what's the first thing you read? The requirements, very good. So firstly, read the requirements, okay? And then start reading the question. And as you read through it, what I want you to do is, do all of you have a computer next to you? Do all of you have a computer? Yes. Are you going to use the Scratchpad, the online Scratchpad in the exam? No, don't do that, okay? So as you're reading the question, if you think of anything, type it down in your answer, okay? So you can do the plan right at the start of the answer. There's nothing wrong with that, guys. But I don't want any of you to use the Scratchpad because the Scratchpad will not be marked. when you're reading the question, try and think what you're going to do first, second, third, and so on. Okay, guys, did everyone hear Ariana? Okay, everyone hear Ariana? Yes, so that means it's time to stop reading, guys. It's time to stop reading. Now, at this point, will you have understood the whole question? Will you have understood everything? No, no, but at least you now know enough to start, okay? So you now know enough to start. Now, when you start, obviously, you'll have to set up your meeting notes, okay? So all you do is set it up, meeting notes for manager's meeting with Wanda, to the tax manager from the tax assistant, reference Wanda, and you put in the date, okay? I won't be talking about that. Now, when you start the question, which part of the question will you do first? Part D, and Connie, excellent. Yeah, no, I don't want anyone to do it. Yeah, you start off with the ethics, okay? So start up with it. Who said, Leah, don't do part C. That's the most difficult bit, okay? So Leah, the problem is if you do part C first, Leah, you'll never do the easy bits, okay? So you must do the easy bits first. So you start off with the income tax refund. So let's take a look. Can you highlight your exam like the way I'm highlighting it here? Yes, you will be able to do that. Absolutely, yeah. So what the examiner said is, please provide a summary of the actions we should take and the matters of which, no, not at all, Walid. You can attempt the question in any order, okay? You just have to head it up meeting notes, okay? So the summary of the actions we should take and the matters that Wanda should be aware of in relation to the income tax refund. So what we're told in the question about that is Wanda has received an income tax refund and she doesn't know whether or not she's received an unexpected refund of income tax, okay? Oh, sorry, Esther. Esther, nice to see you. Poor Esther. Esther got a shock there, okay? Never mind, Esther. Lovely to see you. I haven't seen Esther in some time. I've missed seeing Esther actually. Yeah. Nice to see you, Esther. Wanda has received an unexpected refund of income tax from HMRC, okay, in respect of the tax year 1314. Okay, guys, so what's the first thing we need to do? What's the first thing we need to do? Investigate. Well done, Nafisa. Yeah, we have to investigate we have to investigate Wanda to find out whether or not she's entitled to the refund, okay? So this is an area, yeah, very good, yes. So one thing that's due to come up in your exam is the difference between tax avoidance and tax evasion, okay? So remember, tax avoidance is legal, that's perfectly okay, but tax evasion is illegal. So, so what we should do is we should investigate Wanda's tax affairs to determine if she's entitled to the refund. If the refund was refunded correctly, then no further action is necessary. But if she's not entitled to the refund, then non-disclosure would be illegal tax evasion, okay? And what we have to do is we have to comply with the ACCA Code of Ethics. What's the mnemonic for ethics, guys? What's the mnemonic for ethics? Very good, yeah. PIPCO, you can use various different mnemonics. As long as you use a mnemonic, you remember that's the key thing. The one I use is COPIC, okay? So the one I use is COPIC, like cheats are there. So confidentiality, objectivity, professional behavior, integrity, and competence. You only have to mention 2 principles in your answer. You don't have to explain it, okay? Now, if Wanda, that means if Wanda is not entitled to the refund, we must recommend she makes full disclosure to HMRC and return the money immediately. When you're writing your answers in the exam, do you write them in paragraphs or sentences? Sentences, very good. Sentences, good. Yeah, excellent. Now, if Wanda refuses to make the refund, what do we need to do, guys? What do we need to do? Are we going to tell HMRC? No, we need to resign. Excellent. Yeah, very good. Yes. So we are going to resign as her tax advisor. Very good. And notify HMRC of the resignation without giving them a reason why. Yes, excellent. Well done, Chiela. Well done, Esther. This is likely to precipitate an HMRC investigation. Okay. And as many of you pointed out, no, when we tell HMRC we are resigning, HMRC will immediately investigate the client, Charandeep. Okay, that's what happens. Yeah, yeah. And tax evasion is a criminal offense, so we should recommend that Wanda seeks legal advice. So can all of you see, by writing sentences, you're writing quite a few different points. Are all of you happy with that? Yeah, good. The last thing the examiner would like you to mention is money laundering obligations. Now, guys, when I write my answers, Carla, we don't tell HMRC because we have to respect client confidentiality, Carla, yeah? Carla, can I unmute you? Yeah? Yeah. Carla, would you like to? Yes, yes, Nafisa, yeah. Nafisa, I've just gone into money laundering in detail. Let me see if I can unmute Carla. Hi, Carla.
Hiya, that explanation is fine, thank you. I just
okay, great, excellent, yeah. So guys, just by the way, if you type in question mark in the chat box, that means you want me to unmute you. Okay, sorry, some of you may not know this, yeah. So if you type in question mark in the chat box, that means you want to be unmuted, yeah. Yeah, I've gone into money laundering in detail here. So I've just talked about the Public Interest Disclosure Act. Okay, Public Interest Disclosure Act. Yes, of course, Charandeep, yeah. And we should avoid tipping off Wanda if a report is made to the National Crime Agency. So I've just, covered a bit more points on money laundering there. Okay, so just be aware of money laundering as well. Okay, so I've covered money laundering in detail here. You don't need all these points to get 5 marks. Yes, Najida, Najida, don't panic, guys. That's what I'm saying. We are covering a lot of stuff. All this stuff will be emailed to you, but like I said, it'll be done by Kaplan probably on Monday, guys. Okay, so I'll tell them they'll probably, because I don't think they're working today and tomorrow. Yeah, so the people who are doing the admin for this are not working on the weekend. Yeah. Good. Yeah, Chandy wanted to see that. Okay, any questions on tax evasion, guys? Any questions on tax evasion? Shasta said, can I repeat the ethics? Yeah. COPIC, Shasta, confidentiality, objectivity, professional behavior, integrity, and competence. Okay, COPIC. Good. Good. Now, do all of you guys feel better at this point by doing the easy marks? Yes, yes. So you've already got 4 marks for presentation and 5 marks for ethics. This is why your examiner said always, yes, very good, Carol. It starts you off, okay? So always do the big questions first, okay? Now, if we look back at the question now, yes, Gosia, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. You do inform HMRC in writing that you've resigned. Okay, and like I said, that'll start off an investigation. Yeah. Once we've done that, what are we going to do next, guys? What are we going to do next? What's the other easy point in the question? Part B, excellent. Don't say part A, guys. Do part B, voluntary registration for VAT. Okay, your job is to pass the exam. Good. So what the examiner asked you about voluntary VAT registration is he said, explain, so the sale of children's clothes is 0 rated. Explain why the business would be permitted to register from the time of commencement of trade and the advantages and disadvantages. Okay. So can any of you think of an advantage of voluntary registration? You're able to recover input VAT, but there's no output VAT. Thank you, Moo. Thank you. You claim back input VAT. Excellent. What would be a disadvantage? What do you think would be a disadvantage? Admin, very good. Admin, excellent. Excellent. Yeah, very good. Yeah. Yeah. So you talk about admin. So let's revise voluntary VAT registration. Don't forget the sales are 0 rated here, Said, okay? Yeah, so the disadvantage would be penalties, yeah. So remember here, Wonders, a new business, sells children's clothes which are 0 rated for the purpose of VAT. So remember, Said, always read the question carefully, Said, okay? That's very important. So 0 rated supplies are taxable supplies, but are not subject to VAT. So what we are saying here is because her sales are 48,000, it's less than the VAT threshold of 85,000. So she's not required to register on a compulsory basis under the historic test. However, she can register voluntarily and that'll enable her to recover input VAT on her expenses. So you can see, guys, I've got all these diagrams for you here, telling you what the advantages of voluntary VAT registration is to help you remember it, okay? So instill confidence, VAT can be reclaimed, simplified accounting, and so on, okay? So there'll be higher profits because now she's claiming back input VAT. She'll be able to conceal the small size of the business and it will avoid penalties for late registration. So don't talk about the sales being more expensive because they won't be because the sales are 0 rated. But the disadvantages here is she'll have extra admin, okay? And she could be subject to penalties and interest if she's careless or negligible. So is it important to read the question carefully, guys? No, there's no time to copy this out like in the lecture, okay? There's no time to copy this out, I'm afraid. I will send you this stuff, okay, guys? So obviously, guys, this is a very short session. Remember, it was only meant to be an hour. It's already gone on, yeah. So we're making it longer than an hour to give you a good grounding, but I'll send you this stuff, okay? Like I said, I'll send you this stuff. Good. Good. So we've now finished the VAT as well. What's the next thing we're going to do? Can all of you type in the letter for the next bit of the question you'll do? Part A, very good. Can any of you tell me why we won't start doing part C2 and so on? Remember, part C is all linked, right? So, you know, don't get into part C now. Do part A, okay? That's the IHT bit, yeah. Yeah, so don't touch part C. So let's now look at IHT, guys, okay? That's, yeah, but Leah, I'm teaching you how to pass, Leah, okay? You'll have to read through it. You keep on reading it back. One of the things you can do, Leah, is you can copy and paste. Remember I told you about Control V and Control P? Leah, you can copy and paste it into your answer. Can you see that? Yeah. So I want you to copy and paste the requirements, but even things like this, I would copy and paste the whole thing in there and then just delete. Okay. Yeah. So that's, you see, you guys are picking up the techniques now. Okay. So those of you who are my students, you should know this already. Okay. So what we're told here is Wanda's father, Pavel, died and he left 160,000 to Wanda and the residue of his estate to his wife, Lucy, Wanda's mother. Yes, Rianne, you can copy and paste Control V and Control P bits of the question into your answer. So you don't have to keep on going back to it. Can you see that? So here, this is all detailed stuff. Copy and paste this into your answer, and then you read through it. Yeah. Control C and Control V. Thank you. Now, when Pavel died and he left part of his estate to Lucy, who's Wanda's mother, what can you tell me about the bit left to Lucy? You guys, honestly, I want to see some technical terms, okay? I want to see very good Najida. That's what I'm looking for. I want to see spousal exemption, spouse exemption there, okay? So that would be exempt under the spouse exemption. Some of you are saying no IHT, okay? So remember, guys, you're doing advanced tax now, okay? Good. I'm teasing you. Good. How much of Pavel's unused nil rate band is left, guys? Because he left 160 to Wanda and the rest, how much of his nil rate band is unused? Please type in some right answers. Yeah, Bilal, work it out, work it out. Good, well done, Bryony, Josh, good. That's what I want to say, 165,000, good, okay. With the 165,000, would that be carried forward for Lucy? Would that be carried forward for Lucy? Yes, very good. Now, the residue of Pavel's estate was valued at 720 and included the family home, guys. Carla, do not talk about the annual exemptions. Don't talk about the annual exemptions for now. I'll come to that later, yeah, good. With regard to the family home, did Pavel use up the residence nil rate band? Norman, don't talk about PPR. We're doing IHT. No, okay? So what I want everyone in the class to do is calculate how much nil rate band will be available for Lucy when she dies. I want the total figure, guys. I want a total figure. I want you to type in one number, okay? I've got 300. Some people are saying 300. Some people are saying 400. Okay. Many people are saying 490. Good, good. Okay. So let's now look at this together. I'm happy to see everyone was joining in. Okay. Yeah, good. Okay. So you had to explain this to the examiner. So Pavel's legacy to Wanda was covered by his nil rate band. So he still got 165,000 carried forward for Lucy. Now, normally you carry forward the unused nil rate band as a percentage, okay, or 51%. But because it's unchanged, you can carry forward the full 165,000. So if you find the nil rate band has not changed, you don't have to work it out as a percentage, guys. Now, Lucy made a gift, a lifetime gift to Wanda of 180,000. And I was happy to see a few of you remembered the annual exemptions, okay? The current year's annual exemption and the previous year's annual exemption. So as far as Lucy is concerned, she's only got 151,000 of her nil rate band left over. So what this means is that when Lucy dies, she's allowed to claim her own nil rate band, her own residence nil rate band, and Pavel's residence nil rate band. So that's 300,000. In addition to the 300,000, she's also got her own remaining nil rate band, which is 151. So that takes us up to 451. And the last thing you had to do was to add Pavel's nil rate band. So the correct answer, guys, was 616. Okay. Did all of you understand that? Did everyone understand that? Yes, good. So Pavel's unused nil rate band, Lucy's unused nil rate band, plus the two residence nil rate bands. And then all you do then is you deduct all that stuff there from the 850, and that gives you, and then you tax the death estate at 40% to give you 93,600. So after paying that tax, what Lucy will, Wanda will inherit is 357,564,400, and this is available for Wanda to finance her new business venture. Guys, have all of you seen how I'm doing the calculations? Can you do the calculations in sentences like this in the exam? You don't even have to set up tables. That's what I'm trying to show you. It's so quick. Okay, this is an actual exam question. Okay. So what I'm trying to show you is this is exactly how you have to do it in the exam now. Okay, so it's very quick and you're to the point. The calculations are not that difficult. Good. Okay, guys, are all of you feeling that your brains are a little bit saturated now? Are all of you feeling that? A little bit, yeah, because like I said, the session has gone on. There's actually, you know, I'm covering quite a lot of stuff with you. So are all of you happy if I give you a 5-minute break? Are all of you happy to have a 5-minute break? Yes, good. So please don't go away and have a big 3-course dinner, Olu, okay? So Olu, don't go and have a big 3-course dinner. Olu is cook some lovely food there. Olu, have you got some nice food there? Okay, guys, so I'm giving you a 5-minute break. Najida, I'm looking to finish by 3:30, okay? I'm looking to finish latest by 3:30. Is that okay, Najida? Yeah. Yeah. It's gone, you know, I want to give you a maximum benefit, and many of you had lots of questions, so I couldn't rush you. So I want to cover as much as I can, okay? There's no taper relief collar on a death estate. Can you see that? The lifetime gift, the pet, would be covered by Lucy's nil rate band. So there was no tax to pay. If there was tax to pay, then you can deduct tape relief from it. Okay, guys, you've now got a 5-minute break. Just go and grab a snack, grab a drink, and I'll see you back here in 5 minutes, okay? Okay, I'll just start answering the questions before we resume in 2 minutes. Rian, are you there? Rian? No, okay. Nafisa, are you there? Nafisa? Yeah, oh, Rian is there, good. Okay, so Rian, what happened here is with regard to the pet was covered, the pet was 174,000. Rian, okay? So the 174,000 was covered by Lucy's nil rate band. Can you see that, Rian? So because it was covered by her nil rate band, there was no tax to pay. And because there's no tax to pay, we didn't have to do the tape relief. Okay? Yeah, okay, great. Nafisa, I'll now answer your question. I'm sorry, guys, the chat box is lagging a bit. Nafisa, you said, what's more likely to come up, self-employed or employment? That's an impossible question for me to answer. Can you see that? Because you do get both self-employed and employed, okay? You have to know both, Nafisa, yeah? Bilal, with questions like that, with employment, like I said, Nafisa, as long as you know the main points on employment income and the main benefits, that should be enough. Bilal, with questions like that, why don't you send me a message on LinkedIn, okay? So if you send me a message on LinkedIn, then I'll see what I can do for you. Yeah, good. Okay, guys, did all of you have a nice break? Did everyone have a nice break? Everyone have a nice break? Good, 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 yeah. What is everyone having for dinner today? What's everyone having for dinner today? Can all of you type in 1 or 2 things to share what you're having for dinner today? Fish and chips, Nafisa, yeah. Fish and chips, doner kebabs, excellent. Subway, curries. Shiasta, why are you eating Subway? You guys, let me tell you guys, when you're preparing for an exam, don't eat fast food. Are you guys happy with that? We don't eat fast food like Subway, McDonald's. You have to feed your brain, Kung Po chicken, yeah, Shiasta, okay? Try and cook something at home, Shiasta, because you're getting ready for tax now, okay? So you're feeding your brain, you're trying to cook, just go, pop into a supermarket, pick up something. It doesn't take long, okay? Even you can pick up a ready meal. That's even better. But things like Subway, after the exam, that's fine, yeah? But now you have to make sure you're eating lots of vegetables and so on because you're building up your brain power. Okay, good. Excellent, excellent, good. So we're cracking on, guys. Now we're going to do the difficult bit, okay? Whereby we're trying to do the income tax and corp tax payable, okay? So we're trying to do the income tax and corp tax payable. So this is quite tricky. So if the first thing we could do is we could operate the business as a partnership, okay? Now, if it's operated as a partnership, what then happens is the examiner has worked out, he's worked out Wanda's income tax for you, okay? So remember, he's already worked out Wanda's income tax for the partnership as being 13,750. So would you have to compute Wanda's income tax? No, he's done it for you. So many people in the exam don't read the question and they waste time doing that, okay? So all you need to do, so whose income tax do you have to compute? Yeah, the husband's very good. That's all you need to do, guys. Okay. So the husband has already got this existing salary of 90,000. And what's going to happen now is that he's going to have some partnership income. So what you have to do, okay, so we've got Wanda and Roth have now formed a partnership. So when you're thinking of a partnership, remember a partnership is a collection of sole traders. So they're subject to income tax, class 2 and class 4 national insurance on their individual profit shares of 60% and 40%. Now, because we are paying Wanda a salary of 14,000, do we have to deduct Wanda's salary before apportioning the partnership profits? Yes. Well done, guys. Yeah, good. Yes. So what you have to do is start off by deducting the 14,000 from the partnership profits, and that then gives you the remaining profit. Yes, very good, Sheila. If it was a loss, you would add it. And then you multiply by 40% because Roth is going to get 40%, Wanda is going to get 60%. So he's going to have partnership profits of 34,400. So that is going to be added to his existing salary. And because his income has gone above 125,000, what's going to happen to his personal allowance? Lost. Very good, Hilda. Well done, Wakaz. Well done, Inkani and Mu. Very good. So the personal allowance would be lost. And so all you need to do, you can see how I've done it for you guys. I'm showing you that you can do your computations in sentences. So the 37.5 is taxed at 20%, and then the balance will be taxed at 40%. So there's no personal allowance. Okay. Absolutely, Bilal. Yeah, absolutely. But you don't even have to go into that, Bilal. Yeah. So you just have to tell the examiner what the income tax is. So the examiner said, ignore national insurance. You didn't have to compute national insurance here. So we worked out the income tax. The other option is to run the business as a company, paying a salary of 32,000 and paying a dividend of £6,000 to Roth. Okay. Once again, the examiner said, ignore the national insurance. So all you have to do for Roth is you take the existing salary, you then add the company salary and the dividend. That gives you 130,000. So no, not at all. Okay. So what happens here is with regard to the company, what the examiner told you here is when you run it as a company, all that's going to happen is the company is going to make tax adjusted profits of 100,000. So now the 100,000 would be the taxable figure. Can you see that, Charandeep? The 100,000 is for a company, salaries are not a distribution of profit. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, we're coming to that, Charandeep. Yeah, let's just work out the income tax for Roth first. Yeah. So let's deal with Roth first. Yeah. So once again, would Roth get any personal allowance? Would he get any personal allowance? No, good. So all you do here is you tax 37.5 at 20%, and the balance would be taxed at 40%. So can all of you guys see this? Do you need to keep on looking at the tax rates? No, that's what I'm trying to show you. And is it easy to do it in a word processor? Yes, because the examiner is giving you marks for explanations, you see? So he's giving you marks for explanations. It's not difficult to do it. With regard to the dividend, don't forget you top slice the dividend. So after taxing, if you like, the earned income, what then happens is we tax the top slice of income. So the starting rate band for dividends is 2,000. Yes, we tax the dividend last, and the balance of the dividend will be taxed at 32.5%. So what I did was I worked out the tax on the earned income, and then I worked out the tax on the dividend, and then all I did was I added the figures together to give you 43,400. Now I just want to show you this here. Olu, when we do income tax, we have to tax income in the right order, Olu, okay? So we first tax our other income, if you like, our salaries and our self-employed profits. Then we tax our savings income, which is the interest, and then lastly, you tax the dividends. Is that okay, Olu? Yeah, okay, good. Well done. I just want to show you this. In terms of providing a summary, what you can always do, so I'm just showing you how I did. I also did this in Word just to show you what it's going to look like. What you could do then is you can set up a little table, okay? So the examiner showed you what tax was computed. So he gave you certain tax liabilities computed already. And all you needed to do was work out the income tax payable by Roth. So Charandeep, can you see this? Charandeep. Yeah, good. Yeah. So what I'm saying is do the income tax first and then come to the corporation tax. Carrie, go on. What's your question?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, of course, Carrie, go on.
I've been spending most of my time like solving all these questions on the CBE practice platform using the spreadsheet facility. So your answers includes like sentences like personal allowance would be lost and given reasons. If I just put in like the computation on Excel and not explain why it is like that, will I lose marks?
Yes.
Okay.
So in fact, Carrie, it's more important to do the explanations rather than the computations.
Okay.
Because under exam pressure, it's very difficult to get all this stuff right. Yeah. So what I recommend you do is focus on doing the written explanations because they're easy marks.
Okay.
Okay. Well done, Carrie. Yes, excellent, Albert. Put the explanations next to the calculations in the column. If you're doing that, that's great. That's not a problem at all. For part A, it just says to calculate, but there are always marks given for a few basic explanations, Albert, yeah? Sorry, Abdul, yeah. So with regard to companies now, yes, absolutely correct. Yeah, you still explain as you go along. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm explaining and I'm doing the computations and I'm picking up marks. Okay. So the salaries are allowable expenses in computing the company's profits. Now here, I wanted to revise this. The salaries would result in employers' national insurance. And then employers are entitled to the 3,000 employment allowance, but the examiner said ignore national insurance. But in your exam, are you likely to have to compute national insurance as well? Yes, it's just that this question was very detailed, okay? So the examiner said ignore national insurance. So what we now do is to work out the corp tax. Yes, you can use bullet points, but what I'm saying is it shouldn't look like a bullet point. You shouldn't have a bullet point there, okay? It should be a complete sentence, Chair. Okay, so the corp tax liability is the figure after deducting the salaries, absolutely. But what I'm trying to show you is I don't write in paragraphs. I've written my answer in sentences, okay? So that's important. And therefore, what you can then do is compare the figures, and the examiner just wanted you to look at it. He didn't say pick the most tax efficient option. The last thing we need to look at. So was there a lot happening in this question, guys? Was there a lot happening in the question? Absolutely. That's why it's a very good question for revision, okay? Now, what the examiner said is explain to her what would happen if there's a trading loss arising in the first year of trading, depending on whether the business is operated as a partnership or as a company. Now, if Wanda runs the business as a partnership, can we take the partnership loss and offset against Roth's income? Can you offset the loss against your own income? Yes, yes. If she runs it as a company, can we take the company loss and offset against her own income? No. Excellent. Good. Well done, guys. Yeah. So I also want to cover some loss relief with you. I think you will find that very useful because there will be some losses coming up in the exam. You can see here, I've given you a bit of a diagram on opening year losses. Okay. Yeah, absolutely correct, Nafisa. He was a higher rate taxpayer in the previous year. Okay. So if Wanda operates as a partnership, then the loss comes under income tax, and Wanda can offset the loss against her other income. Yeah, it's only Roth's share of the loss, Hilda, which will be offset against his income. He can't use up Wanda's share of the loss here. If Wanda sets up a company, the trading loss will be a corporation tax loss, and it can only be used by the company. So on the basis that she runs it as a partnership, Wanda would have a trading loss, but no other income. So all she can do is, because Wanda doesn't have any other income, all she can do is carry the loss forward against her future trading profits of the same trade, because Wanda doesn't have any more income. But for Roth, what he can do is he can take the loss and offset against the total income of either the current year or the previous year. Now, because it's opening years, guys, so Chela, you can always use up the loss in the current year and the previous year. But in opening years, we're allowed to claim special opening year relief. So with opening years, I saw one of you already talked about it. We're allowed to carry back the loss how many years? Yeah, well done, Charandeep. Okay, so we carry back the loss 3 years. And when we carry it back 3 years, do we carry it back on a FIFO basis or a LIFO basis? FIFO. Nafisa, be careful. Okay, it's done on a FIFO basis, and that'll save tax at 40%. Okay. In terms of corporation tax, all you can do is you can carry forward the loss and save future corporation tax in the company, and that will save tax at 19%. So is it better to form a partnership or a company, guys? Excellent, good. It's better to form a partnership. Now, we've covered, so you can see that's why I picked this question, guys. It covers a lot of areas, okay? Yes, the loss can be offset against your personal income. Yes, well done, Moon. Well done. Good. Finally, guys, the examiner asked you whether why she should choose a year end of the 30th of June. So what would be the benefits of choosing 30th of June as an accounting date? So if you choose 30th of June, will you have very good, I'm getting some good answers here. So you're taxed on your profits later, cash flow, but will you have overlap profits? Will this avoid creating overlap profits? No, it will not avoid creating overlap profits. To avoid creating overlap profits, you have to choose a year end of the 31st of March or the 5th of April, okay? So what you have to tell the examiner is the date will fall early in the tax year, and what will happen here is the lower profits generated on commencement will be taxed first. And the higher profits will be taxed later, and this then gives you a time lag between the profits being generated and the tax being payable. So as many of you said, this will give a cash flow benefit. The problem we have is we will have overlap profits, but at least the overlap profits will be a lower amount as opposed to the higher profits later. Okay, so I've explained that to you carefully. And the other issue as well is she'll have more time to submit her tax return and pay the tax. So in terms of reducing the tax, this will allow her to do some tax planning. So in order to reduce your profits, what you can do is you can purchase capital items eligible for capital allowances, or you can make pension contributions to reduce your tax liability. So did all of you understand the benefits of choosing a year end of the 30th of June? Yes. Would you write in the exam that this will avoid overlap profits? Yes or no? No, no, no. Good. Good, yeah. So the disadvantage is you are going to have overlap profits, but the examiner asked you for the advantages of choosing a year end of the 30th of June. So once again, guys, by me giving you this question, have all of you understood the importance of reading the question first to understand it? Yes. So you can see one of the main reasons people fail the exam is they don't read the question carefully. So many people here started talking about overlap profits. Okay, so you will have to read the questions carefully. Okay, guys, so we've made some good progress. What we now have is we have a little quiz. Yeah, Albert has asked me a question there. How long should we spend reading the question? How long should we spend reading the question? Well, the examiner wants you to spend about 7 minutes. I think you should spend 5 minutes reading it, and then you start it. But as you start it, you're also rereading. Is that okay, Albert? And Said said, is partnership going to be sold in the future? No, Said. The substantial shareholding exemption is only for companies. Okay. Okay, are all of you ready for a quiz? Is everyone ready for a quiz now? Yeah, is everyone ready for a quiz? Now I want everyone to answer the quiz. Your answers are anonymous. I don't know who you are. Okay, so the first question, guys. The first question. For both group relief and CGT groups, the direct and indirect shareholdings must be 75%. Okay, so do you think that's true, false, or do you need to lie down? Do you need to lie down and have a rest now? Okay, so choose one of those answers. So you've got 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Come on, guys. I want everyone to answer. Okay, for question one now, question one. Okay, we're going to finish off with question one now. That's it for question one. We're closing down question one. Yeah, some of you have completed everything. Good, okay. Question one, okay. For CGT groups, direct or indirect shareholding must be 75%. True or false? Is everyone happy with false? Yeah, false, yes. So those of you that said true, remember for CGT groups, the indirect only has to be what amount, guys? For 51%, absolutely correct. Yeah, good. I'm happy to see 76% of you got that right. Well done. So the correct answer for question one was false. For question two, let's look at question two now, guys. Okay, question two. Has everyone done question two? Are we waiting for anyone? Does anyone need more time to do question two? Anyone wants more time? Done. Okay, good. For the substantial shareholding exemption, what percentage shareholding must be owned? 17% of you said 5%. Okay. 77% said 10%, and 6% said 51%. Okay. The correct answer is what, guys? It's 10%. For the substantial shareholding exemption, it should be 10. It's not 5%, Gary, it's 10%. Okay. I've gone for that because many people get confused with this. For entrepreneurs relief, what percentage shareholding should be used, guys? 5, 10, or 15%? 5%. Excellent, excellent. So remember, substantial shareholding exemption, the shareholding is 10%, but for entrepreneurs relief, it's 5%. So many people mix up the 10 and the 5. Okay. So that was very good. Once again, 13% said 10%. And 13% said 51%, okay? So those of you that's 51%, I want you to carefully do some revision, okay? For agricultural property relief on farms let out, so I think there's going to be APR and BPR coming up, 100% relief is available if the farm is owned for how many years, guys? Okay, good. For APR let out, remember, it must be owned for 7 years, okay? So the correct answer there was 7 years, 7 years, okay? Good, so 71% of you got that right, excellent, okay? So guys, for some of you, do you need to do some more work for the next few days? Do you need to work hard? Yeah, so those of you who don't know these points, you need to put in a lot more work, okay? So I want all of you to pass the exam. Good. Sole traders can claim loss relief. Niran is saying he doesn't have the question on his screen. Niran, maybe you're too late. Oh, Keiko, oh, sorry. I think I've ended it. Guys, I've ended it now. Are you looking at my screen now? Are you looking at my screen? Okay, never mind. Yeah, good. Okay. Okay, sole traders, you can claim loss relief in opening years and carry back the loss. Okay. We've just done that, guys. Okay. We've just done that. So it's 3 years, 5-4. Well done. 82% of you got that right. So I'm very happy to see that. Yes. The last question, okay. Are you having a good time? 79% of you said yes. 13% of you said you'd rather be on a beach. So that's 5 of you just can't cope with the lockdown. You've had enough. And 3 people said that their brain is full of audit and SBR. Okay, so if your brain is full of audit and SBR, you know, it's you have to free up some space for your brain, guys. Okay, excellent, excellent, good, guys. So sorry, Nish, what are you asking? Which question? Sorry, what is the right answer to the last one? Okay, there was no right answer. There was no. It's just the way you feel. Okay. Okay. So so I want to just quickly show you partnership trading losses, because I think that's an area that could come up. So remember, with partnership trading losses, you have to split the loss between the partners like profits. And then each partner can individually claim loss relief. Okay, so we had to treat Roth as separate from Wanda. So Roth could claim loss relief for his share of the loss. For partners continuing, we offset the loss against the total income of the current and the previous year. Now, in the case of partnerships, because they're similar to sole traders, are partnerships allowed to use up the loss in the previous year before the current year? Yes or no? Yes, absolutely. So with partnerships, you're allowed to use up the loss in the previous year and the current year. For partnership starting, what you're allowed to do is you're allowed to take the loss and carry it back 3 years. And that's what we had in this question here. We carried back the loss 3 years, FIFO. For partnerships ceasing, so if he gives you a closing year question, you carry back 3 years life. Have all of you found these mind maps I've done for you, these summarized notes, useful? Absolutely correct. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So once again, you know, that's why I've done my condensed notes. Okay. So like I said, my condensed notes consist of stuff like this. Yeah. But I've given you some of them to help you. I just want to, we're quickly wrapping up now. Yes, of course, Chela, you need to learn terminal loss relief. Remember, guys, after the March results come out, and Connie, I'll answer your question at the end. I will be doing a seminar on Finance Act 2020. Okay, so I will be doing a seminar on Finance Act 2020, highlighting the important points, because if any of you have to resit, I will be telling you what the changes are. So just keep your eye out for details on Eventbrite and social media. And I want to hear how you got on in the exam. Okay. So on the day of the exam, please, after the exam, please, once you've done the exam, let me know what came up, what you think. Okay. You can do that over LinkedIn. Okay. So what you think of the exam. And then I can use that information to help people who are resitting and so on, okay? Like I said, if you connect with me on LinkedIn, you'll see that I put lots of stuff there in terms of motivation and so on to keep you going, to inspire you, okay? So I want you to all work hard every day from now to the exam. Are you guys working next week? Is anyone working next week? Yes. So if you're working, guys, how many hours a day do you need to do on advanced tax if you're working? Nish, 2 hours is too little. Okay. No. Bilal, yeah, if you're at home, if you're not working, you do 8. But if you're not working, and Renata, homeschooling. Renata, give the children to your husband next week. Okay. Yeah, you need to do try and do 3 to 4 hours, okay? Try and do 3 to 4 hours, okay? Yeah, it's very difficult. Don't do 6 hours, Kevin. 6 hours is impossible, but I want you to push for 3 to 4 hours. Those of you who have children, like Renata, those of you who have children, when is the best time to study if you've got children? When is the best time to study? Those of you who've got children. Early mornings, excellent. wake up, do early mornings or late at night when the children are in bed. Okay, so don't worry about it, guys. Remember, I don't want any parents to complain about having children. Children are a blessing. Okay, so remember, your children are a blessing from God, and you must cherish them. Don't make your children the reason why you will pass your exams. Okay, so that's very important. God has given you children, so you have to use them to, yeah, absolutely, amen. Amen, as Carol has said. Good, excellent. So use that as motivation. Okay, use that as motivation. Now you're looking to do revision questions, Rianne. Now you're looking to do revision questions. Finally, guys, there's lots of resources on my website, neildacosta.co.uk, for free study exam guides. I'll be doing online seminars. Connect with me on LinkedIn and Facebook, and I will be answering your questions now. I do want to show you this. So if you go to my website, guys, there's lots of stuff there. Okay, you'll see there's lots of stuff there. And I also put up stuff to keep you happy. Okay, to keep you happy, to keep you motivated, and remember, passing our exams is one aspect of life, but it's not the complete aspect of life. Okay, so don't forget that the whole reason we're here is to be happy. Okay, that's why we're on this earth. So you must always seek your happiness as well. Okay, absolutely. So there is stuff on opening years. Nafisa, if you just drop me a mail, drop me a message, I'll answer that. Good, guys. So it's been a pleasure meeting you guys. It's been a pleasure meeting you. I'd like to wish you every success in the exam. Rianne, you need to drop me a message on LinkedIn for something specific like that. But as I said, you know, guys, we've gone on for 2 hours. We've gone on for 2 hours. So I'd like to wish all of you the very best of success in the exam. Make it happen. You got any questions from today, please make sure you communicate with me on LinkedIn, and I'll get back to you. All the notes, the recordings and everything will be sent to you on Monday. Okay, so wishing all of you the very best of luck. I'll see some of you for the question-based day if you're my Kaplan students. If not, very best. Shasta, she doesn't want me to go. Okay, she wants me to tell her about Ikigai now, but you can read through all this on my website. All the best, guys. Take care. So those of you who've got further questions for me, no problem at all. Just drop me a message and I'll answer it. Excellent, Charandeep. Charandeep ended up getting 60% there. Well done, guys. Okay, so have a lovely weekend, everyone. Try and do as much studying as you possibly can. And I wish you the best in the exam. Okay, all the best, guys.